Let's charge the damn mound. Powered by Teaser. No nicotine, no tobacco. Check it out, teasenergy.com. We'll give you a discount code on the back end of this. There it is on the bottom. You want to start with Chris Sale? Was that the most surprising move, maybe, in the last week or so? No? I think that was
the
probably the
cheap-ass
most
Red Sox
surprising.
these days.
Yeah, Red Sox sending a message that they'll take on Lucas Giolito, but they need to clear some money, and they do. So the Braves pick up the 7-time All-Star in a trade with the Red Sox. Just one prospect goes back. A prospect I like, a guy who's been on the show multiple times, Vaughn Grissom, infield prospect. He was working on some outfield action this offseason too, and they send some money back. And Sale had to waive his no-trade clause, which I'm sure he was happy to do to go to ATL. So is this it for you? Let's start with the Atlanta side. AJ, is this it for you? If the Braves pretty much wrap up their offseason right now, and there's the money, by the way, $27.5 million in 2024. He's got a $20 million club option, which they're obviously not going to pick up or not likely to pick up. Boston sends $17 million to Atlanta as part of the deal. So if you look at the math, it's about $10.5 million this coming season for Chris Sale. I like that move if he stays on the mound and can stay healthy. I mean, if you look at what guys were getting in the offseason here, I think he would have gotten probably around that range, if not a little bit more. So your thoughts on the Atlanta side first? Because it seems like Braves fans are like, this cannot be it yet. We need more.
Well, what else do they need? Their lineup is set. Their bullpen is pretty much set. Their starters now with Sale. I mean, if you go Strider, Fried, Sale, Elder, Morton, it's a pretty good
Lopez.
5, right? What the hell
Lopez.
else do they want? If Sale is healthy, listen, this is going to be a great deal for the Braves if Sale is healthy. And Scott, just because you said, they won't pick up that option, we just saw Lucas Giolito almost signed for $20 million a year. A healthy Chris Sale or Lucas Giolito, who's better?
Sale.
Well, then there you go. I mean, then it's not a foregone conclusion they're not going to pick up his option. I think this is a great sign for Atlanta. They got nothing but upside. He's missed almost 4 years in a row now. I mean, poor Chris. If he stays healthy and he does what he's supposed to do, which is be a lefty, and even if he's not the Chris Sale 12, 13, 14, 15, but he's just a better than average left-handed pitcher, this is a big pickup for the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah. This guy, I mean, we keep talking about the Dodgers here. Dodgers added a guy that just for the first time threw more innings than Chris Sale. The Dodgers, Yamamoto isn't going to make all his starts. So for the Braves to pick up a Chris Sale for $10 million, the competitiveness that he brings, the fact he's won a World Series, to me, he's a guy that fits in anywhere if you're looking to win, and the Braves are looking to win. But for me, the $10 million for him, that is a steal. I don't understand. Even if he only gives you 20 starts like he did last year, which I don't think he's going to, this guy wants to be out there, he might give you a 4.5 ERA like he did last year, with the chance of Chris Sale kind of returning and being a 3.5 guy. And then you're looking at the dude strikes out more, over one batter an inning. So I love what the Braves are doing. They've added to an already good lineup with just depth. They've added to an already good rotation with depth, but not just kind of minor league depth. They've added quality depth with Jared Kelenic, with Chris Sale in the rotation. And that's what they needed. They didn't have somebody. Wouldn't you have loved to have gone into the postseason last year with Fried kind of how he was coming in? I think he was sick before, or no, he had the finger thing. That's what it was. He was sick the year before. Being able to slot in as number 3, or if Morton is healthy, you can throw Sale in the bullpen to cover 3 innings. I mean, he closed out the World Series in 2018. I love everything about this move for the Braves. They just keep hitting all the right buttons.
And Alex Anthopoulos has been very crafty with the way that they're handling money. I mean, for many teams across baseball, they've been looking to cut payroll, or if they're going to make a move, they have to cut from somewhere else. So let's show Dave O'Brien's tweet, and he's going to join us later about this. He said the Braves assume the contract when they trade for Sale, which means the $10 million that was to be deferred until 2039 from his upcoming salary is still going to be deferred. Okay. So the cash outlay for ATL with the deferred amount and the $17 million coming from Boston is $500,000, which is
That's
less than
great.
the MLB minimum salary. Did that make sense?
Can we
Yeah,
just
I didn't. Yeah,
can I just ask, what are the Red Sox doing? I know they're trying to cut money, but they sent $17 million. I mean, I guess they saved 10 million, not really. So they basically just didn't want Chris Sale around.
No,
Because I
they
mean, they
saved 10 and change. What are you talking about? They
yeah,
signed
but not till
Giolito.
2039.
It's still money.
Yeah, I mean, that's 15 years from now, Scott. I mean, 10 million in 15 years with the way things are going, that could be like $5 in your pocket. So I mean, I don't know. It just seems like, what are the Red Sox doing? Not only do they bail Chris Sale, like if David O'Brien's math is right, which I'm guessing it is. I mean, they're paying him $500,000 for this year. And the Red Sox go out and sign Lucas Giolito for a 2-year, almost $40 million. Like, that's great for Lucas, but man, that seems like, what are they doing? They're trying to cut costs, but then they're trading away a guy that's basically, making nothing for him this year. By the way I don't know. It's a weird way to operate if you're the Boston Red Sox, and you know why the Red Sox fans are so aggravated by it.
And they really like Vaughn Grissom. Maybe they listen to Alex Anthopoulos talking about him as like this hitting superstar.
Except he has no position. He couldn't make the Braves last year.
Well, you don't have spots to fill on Atlanta. Where are you going in the infield? You trying to put him
shortstop
at
was where he was supposed
Austin
to play.
Riley's there, of course.
he's not a big
Right,
league shortstop.
fair. Not a big league shortstop.
Okay, so where does he go? Where does he go in Boston?
Second.
Yeah,
They're going to move
He
Story back.
He goes to second, Story to short.
Yeah.
That's what Breslow said. Breslow said he's going to be our opening day second baseman. I think it's, and I also think another great thing that the Braves did, this guy didn't have a spot on the Braves. And not saying that they were just trying to get rid of him. They wanted to get something for him, but they did him a solid for, allowing him to go and play somewhere that he was wanted. That was a great play by DJ Stewart right there, by the way. But I'm just constantly impressed by Alex Anthopoulos and the stuff that it's very much outside of the box compared to what everyone else is doing. Like, oh, we can't find any hitters. We can't find a second baseman. Well, we have extra. We have what we need. We're adding to our depth.
I mean, listen, I like Vaughn Grissom as a player, and I think he's got a chance to be a good player, but he's got 230 big league at bats. He came on, let's not forget, he came on like a house of fire and kind of cooled down the first year, 2022, if you remember. I know he's only 22, going to be 23 years old, but last year, OPS plus 78. I mean, it was only an 75 at bats, but still, I mean, it's like, okay, I get it, but it just seems like, again, and he doesn't really have a position. I know he's going to be there every day, second baseman, and again, I hope Vaughn Grissom does great. It just, I don't know, Chris Sale for Vaughn Grissom straight up and giving a bunch of money to me, seems like the Red Sox just wanted to bail on Chris Sale at this point.
Yeah. I don't get it. The only thing I don't understand is maybe there's some kind of like CBT, that there's some kind of tax, something that is being eliminated to keep them under. Like, I don't know how does that $17 million that the Red Sox are sending to the Braves, how does that go against their CBT? And I don't know how to read that, find that, any of that stuff.
I just think they are giving up on Chris Sale, who only has 1 year left. The contract has been an utter disaster. Chris would say that himself. They just signed Giolito. You would hope that they're going to do more on the pitching side, as that's what Craig Breslow said. And the Red Sox desperately needed better pitching last year. They didn't even have a dude that posted 160 innings. That's part of why, at the very least, you pick up a guy in Giolito who's been very durable. They must really like Vaughn Grissom. And you do get a player in Grissom who you now have control of for a long time. And if you plug him in there and think that he's going to be an above average bat, which is certainly potentially there, they're starting to develop a really nice young position player core. So just presenting the other side here. Let's table it because we'll get to more Boston talk coming up pretty soon with Tony Maserati. So Giolito, 2 years, $38.5 million. We'll get to that with him coming up in just a second. Can I sneak one in? I want to jump down a little bit to the Mitch Garver move. 2 years, $24 million. And that one was on the 24th, by the way. Sneaking in a little, fam's going to be annoying at Christmas. Let me lock in $12 million a year for a 2-year period, which for Mitch Garver is a massive haul in terms of money. It's a guy who has been a great bat the last several years, but hasn't been paid like that before, hasn't kept himself healthy at the catcher position. I don't think he's going to catch much with Cal Raleigh, who's one of the more durable catchers, and they did acquire Sebi Zavala in the trade with the Diamondbacks. So you plug in Garber for your DH spot. It's a team that struck out too much and still needs more impact bats and pop. I like this move to try and start winning back some favor from the fan base, Kratz, because if this is all Seattle does on the offensive side, it's a disaster offseason. But if they're going to keep plugging away at the lineup, I like this to plug in at DH. Obviously, there's a big injury risk, but I'm a Mitch Garver fan from what I've seen at the plate from him the last several years. He's one of the best four-seam mashers in baseball.
Mashes the heater, but he's going to fit right in. He strikes out a ton too. Based on at bats, strikeouts per at bat, they didn't get away from that. So I didn't see him going to Seattle, and I thought he would honestly get a 3-year type of, some kind of like 3 years, 40 million type of thing. No, 3 years, 32 million. Sorry, too high. But it's awesome. I don't see him going behind a dish, but I also, where's he, are they a team that's in play for like a Rhys Hoskins, or does this take them out of that? Is there, what exactly are they looking for? He's a right-handed pull hitter. He is dead pull, and that stadium is tough to be a right-handed pull hitter. You can hit some balls out to right center, right field, pull lefties, some oppo, but you got to get on it. But they saw him a lot too in the division. Him playing for the Rangers, I feel like they have to do a lot more. I didn't think they were going to do anything, so I guess this is good that there is a pulse in Seattle, and it's not all just trading you for me.
I mean, it's
about it, AJ?
Something's better than nothing. Mitch Garver's a nice player. He's not going to catch a lot. He hardly caught in Texas.
It's a DH.
He's a DH strictly. Does it take him out of Rhys Hoskins? Absolutely, because Rhys Hoskins, they already have a first baseman. Ty France is their first baseman, so first is covered. DH is now covered by Mitch Garver. I don't know. I mean, listen, it's something for DePoto. It's something for the Mariner fans to be excited about, but at the end of the day, this doesn't do much for me. It doesn't put him over the top. Doesn't really change much. I mean, they basically traded Suarez and Teoscar Hernandez for Mitch Garver.
Not it.
Sabermetric darling, I will say.
Who?
For Jerry DePoto.
Mitch Garver?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know why? Because he doesn't get overexposed when he plays too much. Because if he plays too much, he gets hurt a lot, especially catching-wise. And he mashes lefties, so they always put him in some advantages. And listen, sure, that's great for Seattle if you have that ability, but they need dudes that can play 150 games and mash and be out there every day. Mitch Garver's not that guy for you.
Yeah, but if he's a DH, don't you think that helps the cause if you basically say you're not catching at all? He didn't catch at all during the playoff stretch, and he only made one start at catcher in September. I'll throw some numbers at you that Jerry's definitely drooling about, maybe giving them higher than a 54% chance of getting to the postseason. 98th percentile chase rate, 83rd percentile barrel rate, 500 slugging percentage. His OPS plus this year with 100 being league average was 134. That is not even above average or good. That's great. And the DH spot for the Mariners this past season was a 677 OPS. So you are getting a boost if you're plugging in numbers. And that's a math equation going on over there in Seattle. We know that.
So are they going to pick up Jock Peterson to play against righties? Like we talk about pitchers all the time. Pitchers making 30 starts. If you're talking about Mitch Garver as a starting pitcher, he's making like 18 starts. Like he's got, and I know there's injuries in there, and he's got 344 plate appearances last year, 215, 243. Like if he is your everyday DH, there's some regression to that OPS plus. You're not putting him in against that strong righty. Now, if you get a Jock Peterson type of guy, which would be a decent platoon / we'll throw him in the outfield kind of thing. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like you platoon because you have to, not because you're finding value. But that's a completely other discussion.
He can hit lefties and righties, though. You're saying platoon because of the injury situation? Like, I mean, he did have all of his power against. Yeah, I understand. I think the bet is, okay, he stayed on the field for the most part the last couple months of the season because you took away the position that causes the most injuries in the sport.
He's never had more than 311 at bats in a season. And that's kind of significant. I want this dude to get 500 at bats in a season, but he can't stay healthy. His record is 102 games. And that was when he was 27. He's 33 now. I know he's not going to probably catch, but can you keep him healthy?
And you can't
just. You guys tell me. This is perfect, though, Kratz. You guys are both catchers. If a guy suddenly completely ditches the position, or he's a third-string emergency situation catcher
going to the Hall of Fame,
5 to 10 starts, how much does that help the cause? And Mauer dealt with a ton of concussions, right? How much does it help if a guy suddenly is just going up there for ABs? Come on, that's going to help a ton. The percentage chance of him making many more starts is much higher if he's just a DH. Just throwing that out there. All right, we'll get back to some other moves, some smaller moves. We're going to go to the Red Sox again here in just a second, but first, a little reminder. Use discount code FOUL, FOUL, for 20% off your first order at TizaEnergy.com.